Home Assistant 2025.2 is just around the corner. With this update, a lot is changing once again. That's why there's a video here explaining exactly what changes, what new features have been added, and why you should update as soon as possible. You'll find out after the intro. Enjoy! The Home Assistant 2025.2 release once again focuses on the topic of backup, which was already a major topic at the beginning of this year. Back then, the ability to create automated backups directly in the interface and also schedule them was newly added. Furthermore, encryption was added, which was practically mandatory. So you had to create an encryption code, save it locally, and then you could use it to restore backups later. Apparently, this caused problems for some people. Especially if you want to tinker with the backup files locally, it is, of course, very inconvenient if encryption is enabled. Accordingly, from this release onwards, it is also possible to save unencrypted backups. You even have the option, and we will get to that in a moment, depending on the storage location you have selected, to save backups either unencrypted or encrypted. With the release, it was also possible to store backups directly in the Nabucasa cloud. That is the only limitation. Here, you can only save backups encrypted. So it is not possible to store unencrypted backups there, simply because they do not want to be able to view any user data. The cool thing is you can also store backups only encrypted in the Nabucasa cloud. And when you click on download in your Home Assistant UI, the whole thing is downloaded in the background via the Nabucasa cloud. Your local Home Assistant then decrypts this backup, and you actually download an unencrypted backup directly to your local computer, allowing you to work with it directly. The good thing is also that from now on, you can store backups at specific storage locations, which I somehow missed. So now there is the possibility for integrations to enable their own backup paths. Updates for this have immediately been received by the Google Drive, OneDrive, and also the Synology integration. So from now on, you can add your own storage locations with the Synology, Google Drive, or OneDrive integration. I've already done that. If you would like an extra video on this, feel free to write it in the comments. I would also like an integration that makes it possible to store backups directly on your standard NAS, essentially an SMB or NFS share integration. But that will certainly come out in the future, and then that will also be possible. Lastly, a few more points on the topic of backup. You can now create backups again when you update. So if you update your integration or Home Assistant, you can set it to create a backup right before to save the old configuration. So if something goes wrong with the update, you can immediately revert to the old version. You can now also set your own times for the backup schedule. This way, backups are not automatically created at 4 high, but at the time you set in the interface. And the names of the backups have also been adjusted. They are now in a human-readable format, so you know exactly what was backed up and when it was created. Next, we move on to the big topic of Home Assistant Voice, which will hopefully receive 1 or 2 updates this year. A huge point for me, even though it's just a small mention in the new update, is that your conversation agents now receive the entire context of the chat. A brief explanation of why this is so important. In a previous release, you could set it up so that if you, for example, integrated OpenAI or another large language model, Home Assistant could step in before the request goes to the AI model and check if the request can be handled directly with Home Assistant's built-in tools. So if you simply say, for example, turn on light XY, then Home Assistant can sometimes handle it faster and directly. This saves you the effort, costs, and potentially the computational load of processing everything through an AI. The problem, however, is that the AI then did not receive the command. So if you say, in the first command, turn on light XY, and then in the second command, turn it off again now, the AI had no idea what to do with that because Home Assistant essentially took the first command. And with the command to turn it off again now, the AI couldn't understand the context at all. Now, the large language model receives the entire conversation content at any time, and can then deduce that turn it off again now refers to the previous voice command, recognize the light accordingly, and then turn it off for you again. Additionally, it is now possible to enable calendar integration. so that it is also passed on to the conversational agent, allowing you to make inquiries about your calendar appointments. What's also pretty cool is that you can now create broadcasts. You might already know this from Siri. So now you can tell your voice assistant, please notify everyone that dinner is ready. And then every satellite, meaning every voice assistant you have in the house, will relay this message, allowing you to easily organize a meeting or a dinner. If your house is too large, to call people directly. Yes, and that's it for the new updates. Just a quick note at the end. Of course, for my most loyal viewers, as always, here's the Amazon voucher. If you're interested in joining next time and also snagging an Amazon voucher, feel free to click here to subscribe and help me improve this statistic to a bit. Otherwise, I would be very interested to know if you're keen on more update videos like this. Should I perhaps introduce this monthly presenting the latest Home Assistant update here on the channel? Or do you prefer reading the blog post and are therefore not interested in such a video? Feel free to write your opinion in the comments, and then I would say we'll see each other in the next video. Take care. Until then, have a good one and goodbye.